Hey, Mike from Metro Trails back with some more history for you. Today we're in the little settlement of Townsbury, and here's Ev. So this is a little community that was once a pretty prominent little spot because of some of the industry in the area. These hills here were full of iron mines, and so mine workers and colliers and such would live through this area. And this is the right-of-way of the former Lehigh and Hudson River Railway. It was built in the late 1870s. By 1881, I believe, it was completed through from Belvedere, New Jersey to Maybrook, New York. So this is an interesting spot because good collection of homes down here, but it was not a station stop. I'll get back to that in a moment. I used to live here for about a year after my house burned down in 2010, and then I lived for a little over 2 years up at White Lake. I rented a building on the Magaro family's farm up here. It's a really nice spot to live, real nice people, and I love the fact that I was right here off the trail. So I did several hikes right out of here at the time. The railroad's been abandoned since 1986. It's now part of Peak West Wildlife Management Area. So let's get back to talking about the station. There are a lot of little settlements out through this area. There's Townsbury, where we are. There's Vienna. And then there was Peak West Furnace, which was served by the railroad anyway. And then a little bit to the east of here, we had Danville, in the area we now know as Great Meadows. So that's got an interesting history behind it. Doesn't it, Ev? Yeah. So, railroad came in and they knew they were going to establish stations along the line. But there was already all these towns. Vienna is another little one over here, and they're not going to give every one of them a station when they're only a mile or two apart. And the area wasn't populated enough to warrant a station at each one of those spots. So it came down to it that the station was going to go either at Danville or, I believe, Townsbury. So in trying to figure out which would get the station, it turned into quite the heated argument. Both towns wanted the station because that meant more prosperity would be coming to their area. And reportedly, this battle between these two settlements, little colloquial named places, got so bad that the railroad decided, well, screw both of you. Neither of you get in the station. So they put the station smack dab in the middle between those two villages. And instead of giving it the name of either of them, they named it Great Meadows, which is named for the Alfano Flats, the drowned lands of the area that we now know collectively as the Great Meadows. We're in a kind of mountain area here, but just to the east of here, the Peak West River Valley opens up into a giant meadow, which was a natural glacial lake in the 1700s. The area was drained off and turned into this more farmable land in the 1700s. You can see the Peak West River below us down here. So that's right, Ab, that's the Peak West. So that's how that happened. But the town of Danville ended up winning in the end because they changed the name of their settlement to Great Meadows, thereby annexing the new station site to the area previously known as Danville. So Danville disappeared into history, except the mountain out this way, just a little further, is still called Danville Mountain on the maps. So that is why we have Danville Mountain, but no Danville, and why we have Great Meadows Station, because the railroad was just trying to eliminate some drama. Anyway, this section of Peak West Wildlife Management Area is one of the nicest because the railroad bed goes very close to the river here. We are walking westbound toward Belvedere, and just a beautiful section to follow. The right-of-way just to the east of where we parked and where we started our walk is state land for just a little farther, but then goes into private land. So parallel roadwalks are necessary. It's also got undecked bridges. And in this direction, it remains state property and a trail up until you get to about Route 31 underpass. The bridges through here are decked, but there's not very good surfacing. There was a very annoying little ballast throughout this entire section that Ev doesn't mind it now, but when he was littler, I didn't like bringing him out here because it was just a little too bumpy. Over here on the right was a favorite site of an old friend, Tommy Ackerman. He died right over here. And over here you still have remnants of signal towers and stuff all through this area. So the Lehigh and Hudson was abandoned in 1986, ripped up that year, and it was on the kind of downturn from around that time because 1974 the Poughkeepsie Bridge in New York burned, and this made a direct connection to it. If you look at a map, this is one of the lines that really seemed like it made the most sense to leave in place because it was a convenient connection from the Lehigh Valley up along the Belledelle all the way to Maybrook, New York, which was a major junction site. But that severing of the line with the bridge made this somewhat irrelevant by comparison. Although the modern day version of New York Susquehanna and Western still operates this line once you get up to Sparta. Below there are segments of it that are a trail. And just below Sparta Junction, a site. You want to give me your bottle back? Okay, I'll take it. We'll put it in here in our cooler pocket, okay? Just below Mulford Station site, which is a little south of Sparta, east of Newton. It's now a trail that can be followed down almost into Kittatinny Valley State Park with one interruption. Then it's missing a short section, undeveloped, going into Andover. And there is another section that's undeveloped that going into the Lackawanna Cutoff. But it's a really nice one to walk anyway. Going through some multiflora rose, one of the worst invasives around here. ATVs still come through here sometimes too, but fortunately you can hear them before they approach typically. And I'm actually thankful for them in this area because they're probably the only reason that this has remained open since its abandonment. A few walkers won't knock down all the weeds here. Here we cross a private driveway. Here on the trail you won't catch this, but I'll show you something a little funny here. Ev, we gotta make sure we slow down here, okay? Yeah, you definitely don't want to be going 100 on that bend. Right, Ev? Ev, can you wave goodbye to everybody? Ev? You don't want to wave? Bye. Thanks for watching.